Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Grave Chatter. I'm Maggie.
And I'm Saloni.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about some of the wonders and mysteries and horrors that go on in Appalachia and the Appalachian Mountain Range. Or is it Appalachian Mountain Range? I just mixed them up right there. I will say, number one thing, because I grew up in St. Louis, but now I live in North Carolina, which is right along the Appalachian Mountains. First thing I learned when I got out here was that I was mispronouncing Appalachian, but it should be Appalachian. Like, they feel very passionately about that out here.
I feel like I don't blame them, but I was trying to look it up because a lot of the people, because I was doing research about this, because I didn't really know anything about it. I just know that like it's a haunted spot or whatever, and everyone said it differently. And then I looked it up, and I was like,
well, it's like anyone who didn't grow up around them say Appalachian, but anyone who did knows it's Appalachian. And I think for my safety, I'm going to jump on the Appalachian train. So
for your safety. Yeah. Dude, I didn't know you lived there or by there. Yeah. I actually don't even know
where they are.
I know it's by Georgia. No.
So it's like a massive mountain range, and I'll include a map because it's like right diagonally across a good majority of the United States, and it's all the way up in Pennsylvania down to Virginia, the Carolinas, and then continuing down to Georgia. So like it covers quite a bit of the United States. And the thing that I didn't know until I was like looking into some of these stories is if you look historically back whenever the Earth was Pangea, that the Appalachian Mountains actually connected into the Scottish Highlands, which is really interesting whenever you might have had that information to share. But I'll include a map of that as well, because I did find a map about that. But that was really interesting because, again, a lot of these stories and a lot of these like folklore and all the tales, they have like, what is the word? Like similar themes keep popping up across all these stories. And so like seeing that little tidbit, I was like, no way.
Dude, I just like, yes, I knew it was long. I was just shocked knowing how long it really is. It's 2,000 miles long. And I'm like, that's actually insane.
Yeah. I think the story I was reading, they were talking about maybe fae or something, and just like folklore that shows up in Ireland and Scotland. And I was like, oh my God.
No, there's a lot of folklore connected between like Native American tribes and like African individuals, and was it Scottish, Irish? I think. Yes, because I was like, I know, and they all have different like folklore, which is about the same place, which I think is odd. All right.
I feel like the first thing that we should go over is the rules of Appalachia, because those are honestly pretty spooky in themselves.
Now that we know what it is, kind of spooky, kind of fresh. But yes, tell me the rules. What are the rules? Because I know there's a lot of different rules that people don't even follow, which is crazy. If I was there, I would be like, this is on my fridge. This is everywhere. Everyone's following this.
These are the 10 commandments of living in Appalachia.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say I remind people of these rules whenever I hear that they're going hiking or something, because my coworkers will say that so there's a university that's nearby, that's App State University, Appalachian State University, and it's up in Boone, which is like, I've been up there. It's a really beautiful area. But so a lot of people go there, and I'm always like, have you heard the rules? Like, are you? And of course they're aware of this, but some people surprisingly aren't. So anytime somebody says they're going hiking, I'm like, okay, don't forget rule number 1, do not whistle in the woods after dark. But I've also found, because I was researching these rules, and I also found some people saying, don't whistle during the day either. Like, just no whistling, just off limits, 0 whistling in general.
I know the whistling like attracts the spirits. Good thing I don't know how to whistle at all.
That is good. Yeah, that should save you. Okay, the first and most important rule is, if you hear your name in the Appalachian Mountains, No, you didn't. Especially if you're traveling alone, and especially if you're alone at night or if a voice wakes you up from that dead sleep. Don't answer, don't acknowledge it, keep on hiking, or if you're woken up, do not go back to sleep. Build a fire and keep yourself awake at all costs. It knows where you are now, but as long as you don't slip up and doze off, you'll live. That's the first rule.
No, because if I hear my name and there's no person associated with the name, I'm running away. I
Have
feel
you
like
ever
that's
had that
my
happen?
thing for everything. No, I have. Uh,
Like, have
I
you
wouldn't.
ever, like, just randomly
It
heard your
feels
name
like,
and thought it was in your head or something?
dude, oh my god, it happens all the time. I'll be downstairs, and this is back when I was like living at my parents' house,
Mhm.
and I was downstairs, I was minding my own business, and every single time I hear my name, and then I call out, I'm like, what the fuck did you say, mother? And she's like, I didn't call you. And I'm like, what do you mean? I heard your voice. All of the times that I've heard my name, it's by people that I know around me, like their
Have you
voice.
have you ever heard it in your own voice?
I feel like I have, but then I feel like I'm gaslighting myself. Be like, oh, I just said it in my head.
Okay, because I've never, or not never, I haven't had it happen in a long time, but I distinctly remember every once in a while I'll hear someone say Maggie, but it's in my voice.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if it's me, like in my
Hmm.
head, or if it's like actually, because I know I see TikToks about it all the time. I forgot the spirit's name, but if you hear your voice, or if you hear like someone that you know call out and they're not there or something else, then don't answer. Because if you acknowledge it, the
Hmm.
power grows, and then
Yeah,
you're
and
fucked.
I think it's typically associated with mimics that are supposed to lure you.
Mimics! Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yes. And they'll mimic the voice of like someone you know, your mother or somebody you live with, whoever you're likely to, you know, go towards if you hear something saying your name. So,
If I
yeah.
hear, like, I know I've heard it myself. Every single time I hear my own voice, it's like, I'm not certain it was my voice. But if I'm
Hmm.
certain that I heard it in my own voice, I would freak out.
I'm
Like, what do
pretty
you
certain I hear it in my own voice, which is funny
do?
because
That's
I've only
insane.
brought it up to a few people, and it's always awkward to like approach the subject and be like, "So I'm
Yes.
not like hearing voices per
So
se,
I'm
but
not
like,
like,
have you ever like heard your own name in your own voice in your own head before?" And usually they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 me neither, me neither."
no, it's
That was just a random, nothing, nothing to talk about there. Nothing
no,
happened.
but I can just imagine you, your one coworker that you know who I'm talking about,
Hmm.
um, your one coworker saying, "Oh yeah, Maggie, you're fucking insane. You're crazy."
Fully gaslight me. Yeah. Yep.
No, because that's funny.
Okay, second rule is just as important. If you hear screaming in the Appalachian Mountains, especially a woman's scream, no, you didn't. Ignore it at all costs and do not try to find the source. It could be foxes mating, it could be a person in need of actual help, or it could be something you don't even want to know about. It's never a good idea to risk it unless you're perving on foxes or have a death wish. You follow that scream and no one will ever find your body.
Um, I fear whenever I hear, just in general, when I think of a scream, or when I like think, you know, the voices that we're talking about, it's always a female voice. So if I hear
Hmm.
a female scream, I feel like it's 10 times more scary than if I hear like a man scream, you know?
I feel like yes. And I think if it's a female scream, there's more of an instinct to go help. But I think, like, if that happened
Yeah.
in practice, what would go through my head is like, A, I'm never gonna find where that came from. B,
I'm not going near it.
I'm probably not gonna be able to help anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like
I
what?
think I'd hear the scream and just be like, that's none of my business.
That's not normal, but I'm also going to walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not for
But
me.
yeah.
Rule number 3, never whistle at night. Not to get your buddy's attention, not to keep your mind busy, not even as a stim to keep yourself awake. If you whistle, you're telling the whole damn forest and all the things in it, here I am, come get me. Some of those things you don't want knowing your location, and I ain't referring to the mountain lions yet. This is the one that I feel like is most common, or at least I had never really heard about all the lore with the Appalachian Mountains until I had moved out to North Carolina. And then now I have seen so many stories about it. And this is the one that I feel like should be rule number one is no whistling at night. I've seen some stories where people are like, I thought I'd be funny and I would like try to whistle at dusk. It's not really night yet, but I was just going to see. And, you know, it didn't turn out well. So it's just like zero whistling
Don't whistle
allowed.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why you're trying to test it. Oh my God. So many people are like, oh, let me just test it. Let me just see. Like, I'll be fine. People are just, you know.
And I feel like
this stop is also... it. Don't be stupid. This is how you die.
This is also the rule that I would probably never tell a man, because I feel like once they know that this is a rule, they'd be like, well, I'm going to do it. Now we're going to test it. You can do it,
but not around me.
No, I would be camping with a roll of duct tape, and the second anybody starts whistling, you're getting a mouthful of duct tape. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I'm putting duct tape on your mouth, not in your mouth, but you know.
Once someone whistles or once someone breaks the rules, it can even be done. Myself. I'm throwing that person or myself off the cliff. You can join the voices.
Okay, here's one more list of rules that I feel like was a lot shorter and succinct, so I want to read this one too. Okay, rule number 1, don't whistle in the woods, period. Day, night, doesn't matter, don't do it. The woods are not our domain. The things in the woods are not our friends. Rule number 2, if you heard it, saw it, smelt it, felt it, no you didn't. Don't acknowledge it. Don't go, huh, that was odd. Just keep moving. Rule number 3, if you are not native to the area and you are not in town, once you are in after dark, you are in. Someone not known is someone not missed. Venturing out after dark is dangerous enough without the things that are watching you as you trespass in their domain. Rule number 4, true names are not to be used outside of town or the homestead in the daylight, never spoken in the woods at night. You are in the greatest peril when what stalks you knows your true name. That's an interesting one that I have heard before. And the last rule, nature is the greatest teacher. What survives is not seen or heard. But the don't tell them your true name thing is interesting to me, because that actually also shows up in folklore, especially Irish folklore about fae, is like, you don't want the fae to know your true name, because if they know your true name, then that's when they can strike bargains with you. And they have power over you if they know your true name. So it's interesting that this pops up again here as well.
I think that's interesting. I had my sister, because I was talking to her, I was like, yeah, we're doing this episode. She was telling me that she saw on TikTok where there was this girl who, I think she was going to a random person's house, a stranger's house. I don't really remember like why she was there, but she was there. And she was like walking up to the door and she saw a man. She thought it was like the husband or something. So she was like talking to it. She's like, hi, how are you? Whatever. And the man didn't like acknowledge her. He didn't really reply. He just stared at her. And she was like, huh, that's weird. Well, she didn't really say that, but she was like, okay, that's like, you little weirdo. Why aren't you responding? And then she goes inside and she talks to the lady. She's like, yeah, like, how was the trip? Like, it was good, whatever. And she was like, yeah, like, I think your husband's a little weird. And she's like, what do you mean my husband is a little weird? And she's like, yeah, the guy outside, like, I was talking to him, but he didn't respond. And she was like, no, the fuck you didn't. She's like, you're gonna leave this establishment right now. I'm gonna give you that sandwich. You're gonna look down. You're not gonna talk to anyone. And you're going to get back in your car and drive straight back to your house. And she left, right? And she put in like her directions in Google Maps. She was going around, she was like turning, and every single time she turned, Google Maps would automatically reroute herself to like a different location. So she was trapped and she was like looping this area for 2 hours, and her phone was about to die, and she was almost out of gas. She was like panicking at that point. She's like, I don't know where I am and I can't leave. But at the last minute, like, I guess she got to exit and she like made out of the loop, like was out of the loop or whatever. And I was like, that's actually insane.
Yeah,
That's
I feel like I've heard
insane.
a similar story to that, but yeah, that would be absolutely terrifying, especially when you're in an area that you don't recognize and apparently are not getting good service in.
And if you saw a person, I feel like, okay, you heard like it's creepy or whatever, but if you actually saw a physical, not human, I would say, but like a thing, that is crazy. That's insane.
Yeah. I really want to go up to Asheville and that to like go to the Biltmore and stuff, and that's up in the Appalachian Mountains. And I will not go unless I'm gonna like rent a car and do it because I'm not terribly confident in the abilities of my car at the moment. So
Valid.
And I'm like, there's no chance I'm going up there and like risking getting stranded out there. So
I wouldn't go up there at all. After learning about
but
these
it's so
mountains,
pretty up there.
Yeah, that's how they lure you.
It is. Famous last
like, I'm
words.
sure. Oh my god, dude, I would want to go, but then I'm like, I don't want to die just yet. Maybe when I'm in my last moment, not just yet. I know that like in my last moments of life, I'm gonna be like, take me up those mountains. Let me go see what's it all about.
I'll keep that in mind.
Oh no. Shit.
Okay. Starting with my first story. And this is a long one, or it's like a 3-in-1, so here we go. Recently, I've seen some creepy stories of mysterious creatures living in the depths of the Appalachian Mountains blow up on TikTok. So I wanted to share some stories I have of when I lived there. So, to set the scene, I used to have a house on the Maryland side of the Appalachian Mountains. We were pretty much completely stranded there, as the nearest neighbor was about 15 miles away. So we had to either go on huge supply runs to the nearest supermarket, which was even further away, or hunt for food ourselves. Also, I forgot to mention, my mom always dreamt of going into a house or cabin deep in the woods, so we decided to live there for me and my sister's summer. Anyway, we alternated between hunting and going for supply runs. Now I'll start telling the stories. The first one is when me and my mom went for a hike through the woods and found an abandoned Wild West amusement park called Ghost Town, probably like 20 minutes into the hike. Once we got there, we got a weird feeling that I cannot physically describe with words. Like it just somehow appeared in front of us. Then, probably no more than 15 minutes later, we found a huge abandoned hospital. We never knew it for the rest of our stay, but those two buildings were the Ghost Town Village located in North Carolina and the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia. We started in Maryland, somehow ended up in North Carolina, and then got to West Virginia and back to Maryland in less than 2 hours. We stayed surrounded by woods the whole time, not crossing or seeing a single road. That was just the start of the weird stuff that happened. The next story is when my mom took me and my sister to a supply run. And while we were driving, we saw a man with a thick jacket, glasses, and a ski mask over his face, and a bicycle helmet trying to hitchhike with his thumb out. It was the middle of summer. Me and my sister told my mom to just keep driving, but she pulled over in the road and asked the guy, "Sir, are you okay?" He didn't respond. "Why are you out here dressed like that?" The man finally spoke, but something was off. His voice didn't sound like it belonged to him. It was too high, like it was put through a voice changer. "Ma'am, can I get a ride?" Completely disregarding my mom's question. I looked around him and noticed he had no bike, no car, no hiking stick, no backpack, no nothing. Just those clothes. I whispered to my mom to keep driving, and as soon as the man saw that she was trying to drive away, he let out an animalistic, inhuman scream and started to run towards us. My mom floored it to the nearest police station and reported the guy, but they never found him. On our way back to the house, we were on extreme edge, but nothing happened. Then, that night, I woke up to a tapping sound on my window, and I woke up to see the same man standing straight up with his hands on the glass. I lived on the second floor. Now, he didn't have his sunglasses on. He also didn't have his eyes. When I noticed it, it immediately fell, and when I looked out my window for it, I didn't see anything. No man, no creature, nothing. Like he just disappeared. I was so shocked and scared, I hid under my covers for the rest of the night, even though I was 16 at the time. I peeked my head up occasionally to make sure he never came back. Then, in the morning, I told my mom about it. But it's not like she could do anything about it. The police would never find it, and my parents weren't going out there. This was terrifying, but nothing compared to the next story. So, any thoughts
The
on that
first
one?
story, I fear that it's like similar to the one that I told about like how the girls like talked to him. I'm surprised that they talked back because all of their stories or like things that I've heard, they never talked back.
Yes.
So like I'm surprised that like the thing talked back. And also like yes, it followed back. I feel like that's not normal, but like expected. But like dude, I think that's what I don't know. I would be terrified.
I mean,
especially at
said,
16 years old.
Yes. He said the thing showed up at his window. When I was reading this the first time, I was just like so creeped out by that because I feel like that's the fear
Has
to
him
like
by
just
my
like
window.
look out. Yeah, like he lives on the second floor. He looks at his window and something's like there, has no eyes.
Oh my god.
It's just
oh my god.
And then
now I'm trying to look over and see like is there anything.
I was literally sitting in my room reading that and like looking out into my kitchen and it was dark out. I had to turn some lights on because I was like, I'm scared. And then I heard like some sort of weird like creaking noise or tapping or not tapping, but like a single noise. And I whipped and looked behind me and I was like, oh. They know.
Yeah, it's like it's through the thing that I told earlier, how like the history, I guess, about the 3 knocks. If you hear the 3 knocks, then you're basically over with. Or if you hear the taps, which I'm like, I feel like that's for anything. If you hear anything tapping or knocking, then you're done.
Yeah.
It's over.
It already knows where you are, yeah. It's just like hunting you at that point.
The second one's even more crazy. Like now I want to hear the second one.
Well, that was the second one. We didn't stop after the first one.
Oh, we did it? Is this second one?
The first one's where they're hiking and they like ended up somehow they went from Maryland to North Carolina, back to West Virginia, and then back to Maryland in 2 hours, which is physically impossible. And it's weird, but it's not like that scary. It's just kind of like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Creepy that they ended up at an abandoned amusement park and then also at the abandoned asylum. And it's kind of like one of those time warps or something, or like some sort of like screw up in the space-time continuum or whatever, where they just like somehow seem to like hop time periods or hop like points in time. And yeah, just really weird. And this is why you don't go hiking.
No, oh my god.
Okay, script or number 3 of his stories, still the same person.
Dude, if you're having like this many experiences,
and this is all in one summer,
leave. There's nothing's keeping you there. Like what? I don't understand.
Okay, story number 3. I forgot to mention, but we had a dog named Mac. He was a golden retriever and was super friendly and helped us retrieve the animal carcasses when we hunted. One day, I was out hunting with my dad and we killed a couple of rabbits and sent Mac to go get them. But we heard him bark, like he was telling us to go to him instead. We walked over to where he was barking and saw a tree covered with dead, skinned rabbits, each with a shark stick through their head and their eyes removed with a weird symbol carved into the tree. We were speechless and covered our mouths in shock. Then we heard someone whisper, "Hey guys, come over here." We hooked up Mac to his emergency leash and ran as fast as we could to our house. I looked behind me for who whispered to us and saw a man with a huge smile on his face and his eyes as wide as possible for a human to open them, staring at me, and then began to run towards us with a knife. My dad grabbed his hand pistol and shot him in the leg, and he fell to the floor while yelling in pain. Once we reached the house, we called the police and told them about it, and they sent multiple officers to search the area, but found nothing. Not rabbits, no blood, no knife, no fingerprints, not even the rabbits we killed. For the next couple of months, we stayed in a relative's house. None of us felt safe anymore. But my dad, the one who shot the crazy man, was the only one who insisted we stay. Said we could defend ourselves, said it was just another crazy and that we should stay the rest of the summer. We agreed, but said if anything else weird or terrifying happens, we go to our house in the city. Then the final story is what made us finally move out. Let's pause because ew. And that's got to be some sort of like satanic situation where he has like skinned rabbits and some sort of like marking carved into the tree. Maybe he didn't put it there. Maybe the tree was already marked with the carving. But then I'm not so sure about the man with the giant smile and the super wide eyes running after them with the knife, because that seemed entirely unprovoked.
That doesn't make sense. Well, like, I'm sure it happened, but in the sense where when the dad or the father shot the man and he fell down and he actually bled, makes me feel like it was a human. And the fact that, like, when they went back and, like, the rabbits and everything was gone made me feel like that someone, like, took everything and, like, I guess cleaned it up, so it's like, oh, it never happened. Because
although non-human things bleed too, maybe we don't know.
I mean, I guess, but like not by like a bullet. Because if the human or if the ghost or like spirit or whatever, if it was there, I don't know. I think of a spirit as like invisible. So if you shoot at it, like it goes right past it, through it, or something like that.
I don't think the things that we're scared of in Appalachia are normally thought to be spirits. I think
that's worse. What do you mean?
More of the stories that you're going to run into with Appalachia is like skinwalkers or cryptids or humanoid things, but not human. So it could, I mean, it's likely that it's haunted just because of, you know, the ancient history of the mountain range and everything that's happened over forever. But yeah, the things that people are really scared of out in those woods are not typically spirits. They're things that can actually hurt you. Like, there are countless stories.
That's mind-boggling. Like, what do you mean there's other
There are countless stories of people just disappearing. Like, there's really interesting information where people take disappearances in the United States and overlap them with the national forests and a lot of the tunnel and like cave systems in the national forest, and it's like uncanny how well they line up. So there's also thoughts that there are like humans who, or at least at one point human, who live in the cave systems in these national parks, both in the Appalachian Mountains and in other ones. I gotta like keep that straight. But yeah, there's supposedly other stuff out there.
That's insane. I also like how both of them kind of have, or kind of end with, not end with, but like have a skinwalker situation, like just running towards them with something and like trying to kill them. Like if it doesn't go their way, they're like, okay, the only other solution is killing you.
Yeah, makes sense.
But now that makes me wonder, what if the skinwalker, I'm gonna call it a skinwalker, what if the skinwalker caught one of, because like right now the police or like whatever, they don't believe them because like there's no rabbit there, there's no, like there's nothing there, there's no blood, there's literally nothing. So I'm like, what if the skinwalker got one of the people, like that got the boy or the father? I feel like how, like, I was just curious how that would end.
Probably in death.
Well, yes, but like,
it also could have been a whole government setup where they just wanted to see how this family would react to something wild like that, and so they set the whole thing up, and I could see that being totally plausible.
I believe the skinwalker more. Actually,
I don't think it's a skinwalker. I don't think it's described the way most skinwalkers are described, because
I know skinwalkers are like very tall and then very like uncanny.
Tall, skinny, elusive. Yeah, they very few have been like photographed or whatever, and so I don't think it gives skinwalker.
I don't think it does, but I don't know what else it would be.
I don't either. But that's also part of why it's terrifying. Okay.
Oh my god, now I kind of want to go there.
Okay. I'm not protecting you. I don't know who you think's gonna protect you. I'm taking you with me. It's like you're not taking Lila. She's a big scaredy cat.
I'm taking Lila and you.
I would go as a sacrifice before I let Lila go out in those woods. Mm-hmm.
No, I would sacrifice myself and not Lila.
Yeah. No way she's going out there. She's too cute.
No,
She's too
literally.
pretty.
She's too pretty. She's like, dude, I love Lila.
Okay.
She's so cute.
Last
I'm gonna steal Lila.
story. Last story in this collection of stories.
Mhm.
One Saturday, I woke up and saw my mom missing from the house. My dad and sister said she was going on an errand and that she'll be back in the afternoon. Afternoon came and she got back. Nothing else eventful happened that day until night struck. We let Mac out and just thought he was going to go to the bathroom and come back, but we heard him run deep into the woods like he was chasing something. I don't know why we didn't chase after him, even after our creepy encounters before this. When he got back, he wasn't energetic. He wasn't acting like himself at all. He was mopey, sad, and acting really weird. Normally, we would have just assumed he saw something in the woods that made him upset, but after the previous events, we were on edge. Then, when we all fell asleep, I woke up to footsteps coming up the stairs. I peeked out my door and saw Mac, standing up like a human, his fur gray, his arms longer than they should be, and his head twisted and upright. His walking wasn't right either. He would walk one step and his body would flop in the direction he stepped. He wasn't walking towards anything either, just roaming the hallways. My heart was beating out of my chest and I called my sister. After calling her 4 times, she finally picked up. I don't remember anything I said to her, but what I do remember is sneaking behind the thing, pretending to be Mac, and meeting up with my sister. Luckily, the rest of my family slept downstairs, so once I met up with my sister, we were able to wake our parents without going past it. Logically, we stayed in the nearest hotel for the night. We had to go back and get our stuff, though, so we went back to the house and found it trashed. The food in the fridge was scattered all over the house, and once we got our stuff, we drove away. I looked back to the house and saw the man, the thing in the winter clothes, staring at me. It was the thing pretending to be Mac. We drove back to our house in the city and never stepped foot in the woods again.
What happened to Mac then?
He's dead.
No!
Mm-hmm.
No, oh my god, I hate how these end with like animals or pets or dogs, especially dogs, just dying. What do you mean Mac's dead?
I know. It should never end with the death of an animal.
What do you mean Mac's dead? No. Dude, that made me so sad.
And thus the reason why I would never take Lila to the woods.
Oh my god, Lila would die so fast. No.
I'd protect her. I would never let her run out. People would be like, oh, let her run around, let her off leash. Not a chance. No.
Not in the mountains.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely not.
That's exactly why she has an air tag on. You think I'm messing around with her safety? Nuh-uh.
No, absolutely no.
No. Nope.
Oh,
all right,
no.
Ready for the next one?
Like how we're just gonna brush back, like past Mac dying, but yes.
Okay, I'll make a shorter story from a long one involving sensitive auras. But once I was with a girl on Big Frog Mountain at dusk, miles away from anyone. We decided to walk up a trail when right behind the car I stepped in a mud puddle with odd-looking, light brownish water. I pointed the unusual color to her, then we started walking. Not far up the trail, she started getting scared and we went back to the car. In the car, we started making out while laying in the front seat and she had her hand draped out the window. I felt an odd sensation in my back. It had happened before when people were behind me, and told her to pull her hand in, which she did. A few minutes later, I felt the sensation in my back again, but it felt more urgent. I rolled up the window, but being a horny teenager, continued with the makeout session. A few minutes later, it felt like someone had stuck a live wire in my back. I sat up, started the car, and headed back down the mountain. She was obviously confused and asked me what was wrong. I replied that I didn't know, but something was wrong somewhere. We went back to my parents' house and were assured by them the family was okay. Having calmed down some, we ate a little dinner, then started to leave. After I opened the car door for her, I walked around the back of the car. While walking, I glanced at the back of the car and saw handprints, the same color of the mysterious puddle on the car. The last one was over the back window, and it was obviously someone watching us while inching their way to the front driver's side window. When I saw the handprints, it was like being hit with a lightning bolt, and I knew what had happened. Cold chills ran all over me. I got her out of the car, and as soon as she saw the prints, she knew too. This story is the absolute truth. So help me, I will never forget it. So they're in the middle of the woods making out, and there's something watching them that for some reason put its hands in the muddy puddle water and then put handprints on the windows.
Don't know why, but like freaky.
Mm-hmm.
Both.
Yeah, which I guess like they're out in the woods and stuff, and I guess like it's really interesting because I don't know that I can say I've ever had that well, I don't know. Sometimes you do, like if I have the instinct, I don't think I recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you'll like look over at someone and they're already looking at you, and I'm like, is that the instinct of like someone watching you and you notice it?
Or
Because
like when you can see, or whenever like the back you have eyes in the back of the head, kind of similar to yours. Sorry, continue.
Well, no, I just like I don't know if that's I don't feel like it's instinctual. I feel like I just happen to glance over and then I'm like, oh, that person's already looking at me. But I don't feel like the hairs on the back of my neck stand up or like any sort of sensation that says, oh, look over there. I don't think so. Not unless I'm like a little spooked out about like if I'm walking at night or in college if I was walking on campus at dark or something. But then I'm already like have my head on a swivel and I'm like already keeping really aware of my surroundings. So maybe then I would feel that way, but I don't feel like I've ever had that sensation where I just feel like something's behind me. Not unless it's like you're turning the lights out in the basement and you've got yourself all creeped out and you like run up the stairs, but that's just because you're in the basement. Like that's not necessarily because there's anything actually down there. You know?
Right. Because that happens to me all the time, where I feel someone's looking at me and then I look over and they're looking, or I fear like someone, even when I'm in the house alone, I feel like someone's like looking at me.
That's actually really weird when you're in the house alone to feel that way, because I think even when I was reading those stories, then I felt like there was something, or like maybe occasionally, like a Friday night laying on the couch watching TV with Lila and the apartment's dark, then I'll like glance over at the front door, or like glance over at the door to the bathroom where it's super dark. But I feel like it's just like kind of the vibes of the room that's making me be a little antsy and feel like I should go look over in the dark corner of the room.
Maybe. Because now that I think about it, every single time I had, not every single time, but most of the feelings where I had that, it's like me downstairs or
yeah, your basement's
me when
creepy.
I'm alone.
Your parents' basement? That is a creepy basement.
Like
it's finished scary. And it's nice, but there's just like something creepy about that basement.
No, because before it was finished and before we had all like the things, I felt it was less creepy, and now it's just, I don't know, there's something about it. I don't go downstairs alone, at least.
Very creepy.
So I'm like, maybe it's something like, I don't know, it's just like the entire situation, this mountain situation is not helping his case. Don't know why anyone lives there. I've seen TikToks because I'm like, I researched more and I was like more curious about it. So I've seen more TikToks. Everyone's like closing their curtains and everything. And I'm like, if you have to prepare for the night, why live there?
I agree.
Just a thought.
And I feel like we could do so many more videos on Appalachia because maybe we touched lightly on mimics, but these were just like creepy people in creepy woods. We didn't even get to any sort of skinwalkers or anything like that.
Well, I'll let you tell them stories because you're closer to it than I am.
Yeah.
I will pick out the stories and I'll have you read them. Good thing my doors are closed. That's why every single time I go to bed, I make sure that my closet and my bathroom door is always closed.
Anyways. I always close the doors to my room, but it's more because that's like a fire safety thing and you're supposed to do that.
Right. I close it because I don't want to die.
Yeah. Or I'd like to die slower.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've already decided because my apartment looks out onto the pool that if there was a fire or something and I had to save myself and Lila, that I would, just like chuck her out into the pool and she'd be like, For sure.
No, that's funny. I think she would appreciate that. Anyways,
I think that wraps up this episode. So thank you for listening, especially if you stayed for the whole episode. Please like the episode and subscribe. We also post on Instagram and TikTok if you're interested, and we have an account on School if you want to go over and hang out and chat on there as well. So we will see you in, yes, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.